Very special night to be in downtown LA. The energy, the enthusiasm, just the overall atmosphere in Southern California when the Lakers come home, and especially in closeout games like this where they've capitalized on 14 of their last 16 chances since the 2000-2001 season. So great time to be in Angelino. Welcome back to Staples Center. Joel Myers along with Stu Lance. Patrick O'Neill going to join us in just a couple of minutes. So it's 3 down, 13 to go. Can they get number 13 tonight at the expense of the Utah Jazz and eliminate them in the first round this year after taking care of them in the conference semis last year? Now the starting 5 for the Lakers. And the starting 5s are going to look similar to what we saw in the last game because Mehmet Okur is going to be back and Lamar Odom as well for the Lakers. And with good reason. Not only 10 points, 15 rebounds, but Lamar led the Lakers on the boards and in the assist category as well with 6. Came through in a big way. And when Phil Jackson was on with Billy Mack earlier, he talked about, and he repeated it a couple of times, focus. You know what you have to do. Everybody knows everybody else's plays, what they're going to run. So just focus and be prepared. And that's what he wants right away out of the locker room from his Lakers. And for the Utah Jazz, is it going to be a little bit more limber Mehmet Okur? I mean, let's face it, he just wasn't himself. When we saw him on the floor last game, he was very limited with that strained right hamstring. Boozer and Williams on the ends. They've held up their end of the bargain for Jerry Sloan. So a team that has gone to the finals on a couple of occasions under Jerry Sloan and lost in both. And to the other guy at the other end of the floor. And I'm talking about the Hall of Famer, Phil Jackson and the Chicago Bulls during those 2 seasons, 97 and 98. So Jerry Sloan just trying to get out of the first round after 2 years ago. They went to the conference finals and lost to the San Antonio Spurs. Downstairs we go now to Patrick O'Neill. Patrick.
Joel, thanks very much. You can tell this is an elimination game because the energy down here courtside is electric, really loud inside the building. Some concern for the Lakers at the 3. No Luke Walton tonight. He has a sprained ankle, injured it in Game 4, and he is a key member of the bench mob because he had 9 points in that Game 4 victory in 18 minutes. Luke will be out at least a week with that sprained ankle. Adam Morrison has been activated, but don't expect Adam to see much playing time, if at all, tonight. So the bench, you're going to see some extended minutes for Sasha Vujacic, also Shannon Brown, but other than that, Phil Jackson is going to keep it tight. Doesn't mean extra minutes for Jordan Farmar or extra minutes for Andrew Bynum. Bynum needs to come in and be effective early. If not, he is going to get a quick hook. He has been unhappy for lack of playing time, so he's going to come out and he has to show Phil Jackson something, or it's back to the bench because of the matchup problems with Utah. And guys, I'm told that Kobe Bryant is going to be aggressive early and often. What show are we going to get tonight?
Yeah, I got to believe it's going to be similar to what we saw, Patrick, in Game 4. Steve Jabby, James Capers, who is going to toss it up, and Gary Zielinski are 3 officials. Stu, it should be a lot of fun.
Well, it'll be a lot of fun if the Lakers can keep that focus that Phil Jackson talked about.
It is controlled by Okur. So the Jazz have it start the 4th. Lamar Odom helping on the hedge. Inside of 10, it's Kirilenko. And 3 Lakers there. And maybe a little bit of a breakdown in communication because it's off the Lakers, out of bounds.
You know, you play the game with your feet all the time, obviously, but you have to also have your hands ready all the time. And that time, the Lakers, the hands weren't ready.
Okur on the run out, trying to get to the cup. Instead, Ronnie Brewer. And it's a 2-0 lead on a second chance opportunity to start the game for the Utah Jazz. The Lakers about shot them over the first 4 games, a little over 50% to 44%. And in the playoffs, you shoot 50%, you're saying something.
And to start the game, the Jazz start out with Kirilenko on Kobe instead of Brewer.
Good little pass. Trevor Ariza on the assist. I like it. The run on the baseline of Kobe on the angle.
Kobe still playing center field with Brewer. Brewer has to be, I mean, he just doesn't have that mentality, but he's got to really look to shoot the ball because he's got open looks.
Tentative that time, wasn't it? Now shot clock down. And Brewer got it in for Kirilenko. Off balance, really under the basket. Fish tied up, and Williams has a foul. Derek saw it in time to alter his path.
Well, that pass from Powell to Derek, close to a situation where your head's turning, and all of a sudden you turn around and there's a defender. You either travel or possibly run into him for the offensive foul, but Derek did a great job of recognition.
Back door, the lob. Pau Gasol off balance for 2 Lakers.
Now, the pass looks great when you put them in, that's for sure. Powell says, thank you for the pass, Trev.
Lakers trail by 5 at the end of the first as Okoro has a real good look and makes the most of it as it's tied up at 4. But most of this series, the Lakers have had a lead. It has been rare. The face-up game of Pau Gasol. And the rebound taken away from Brewer by Boozer.
That's what Boozer does. He takes rebounds. He doesn't just wait for it to come to him.
Well, terrible pass by Darren Williams. On the run, the pull-up game of Derek Fisher. Pau Gasol inside position, and Boozer lost the handle. Lakers keep it in the offensive end.
That's one of those ricochets. Powell just got a fingertip on it, and it changed the course of the ball and going out of bounds off the fingertips of Boozer. But that last basket where Trevor throws it up and Powell just lays it in.
So fresh shot clock for the Lakers. Lamar on the spin up against Boozer with the right hand, and Oman early. He looked back, he wanted to foul, he won't get it.
And changing direction is always good, but especially against Booz, because Booz is good initially, but if you change directions on him, you can beat him.
Kirilenko, he was looking at Brewer. Lamar Odom in the switch with Williams. Pass to Brewer, and he walked with the basketball. Off balance, behind him slightly, and then he slipped a little bit.
I talked about changing directions. Lamar's last basket, our Carl's Jr. Exmo shows it to you. Go one way, come back the other. Boozer is just going to try to strip you majority of the time. Not really a shot blocker, so make him move his feet and attack.
Kobe up against Kirilenko. That's always tough. I'm talking about a guy that's got a wingspan of better than 7 feet, and there on signal, he takes it away because of that.
Well, bad decision by Trev. That's a bounce pass there.
Boozer, the easy one. And it's all even at 6. So points off a turnover. And the Lakers, that was only their first of the game. So 3 minutes gone by, we are tied at 6. And I mentioned they were down 25-20. It was the bench that really jump-started them when Kobe sat down. And that was the early part of the second 12. Kirilenko on Kobe to start this contest. Not Brewer like we've seen. And we go back to Gasol. The step back. And across it goes to Ronnie Brewer.
That time the two-man game was a little stagnant. Powell didn't cut fast enough to clear space.
Brewer's got to keep honest. And Lamar Odom's got the rebound. There's a reason they're leaving it wide open, and especially at that distance.
One, Kobe just doesn't respect his outside game.
Kobe strong and on his way to the free throw line. He blew by Boozer at the high post, and Brewer came over to help out with the foul.
I like the attack mode that Kobe's in. I mean, I really do. That's the way you go. You show the ball and just go right by your defender, get on the launch pad, get fouled by Mehmet Okur, go to the free throw line to shoot a pair.
Pretty amazing, even by his standards, what we saw in Game 4. When they scored the first 11 for the Lakers, 13 of their first 15, and was 14 of 17. You talk about jump-starting your teammates. They get a flat free throw to give the Lakers a 1-point lead.
Well, he's got a history of jump-starting teammates and teams and putting the game in the Lakers' control early.
So 38 in the last one. And what's it going to be for Kobe tonight? He's got 4 early. Had that nice little mid-range 12-14 footer in the setup by Trevor Ariza, and the Lakers are back up by 2, 8-6. So boards, free throws, they're always key ingredients to a win over the Utah Jazz, and boards in particular. Deep into the shot clock, not a back to the basket guy. Okur lost the handle. Trying to do a little bit something out of his range, maybe.
Well, again, when you're not 100%.
Fish popping up for 3. A little bit strong, and Okur clears it out.
Well, the crowd wanted that one. They all got on their feet hoping that one would drop.
Boozer usually likes to fall away from that position. Off balance because of Lamar Odom's defense. So the Jazz start 3 for 7, just like the Lakers. Difference, 2 free throws by Kobe.
I'd like to see the ball go on the inside, though. Get Powell involved here.
10 of the shot clock. Kobe that time with space. And That was truly a frozen rope. Darren Williams.
Boy, the probe. He just probes and probes.
And Okor. Deep three. Yeah, the smaller man jump out on him, and he knew he didn't have to do much to get it over Derek Fisher. An alert play by Mehmet Okor. He's in his 7th year from Turkey, a 29-year-old that, like Boozer, can opt out at the end of the season from his contract.
I think this year you'll see few players opting.
Don't disagree on that. Now Lamar Odom passes up the long one. Trevor Ariza gets the one that's a little bit shorter, about a 15-16 footer, and the Lakers regain the lead 10-9.
And you can see the gait of Trevor Ariza, that ankle bothering him. But he's out there giving it a try, knowing that because Luke can't play, he basically has to.
Kirilenko. 11-10 Utahs. We're almost halfway through the opening quarter. You want Pau Gasol to get a touch. Yeah, I agree. He's got to get involved, especially against a guy that's not exactly a post defender. Up against the core, quick release. And what about the activity of Ariza? Almost throws it away, and he does. Fish, they say, is on the sideline. In disbelief, he hands the ball off.
As so often happens, players that are on that sideline, either sideline, they're so concerned about staying behind the three-point line. There's not a lot of room there. I mean, you really almost have to forget about the three-point line until you get the ball.
They continue to gauge the minutes for Mehmet Okor. Paul Millsap with the basketball. He's the one who just checked in on the spin. Got Lamar out of position. And they'll call the foul on LO. Couple of free throws coming up for Millsap when we come back.
Well, fast first quarters. Halfway through it. 5:50 to go in the first quarter. And the Lakers and the Jazz involved in a close one. The Jazz with the 1-point advantage. As Powell, Kobe, Lamar, Derek, and Trevor Ariza making things happen.
Just underway at Staples Center with 5:50 left in the first 12. And the Lakers trying to close it out with the Utah Jazz, down by 1 early. And a couple of free throws coming up for Paul Millsap when they put it back into play. We are witnessing right now some pretty amazing and historic accomplishments when you consider the top of the playoff scoring list. And it's Michael Jordan ahead of the captain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who fortunately is with us every night here at Staples Center. Shaquille O'Neal, Karl Malone, some hard-to-believe elite company. Mr. Clutch, Jerry West, Larry Bird, and right behind them now, Kobe Bryant. And Stu, as we saw, he passed Hakeem Olajuwon and Hondo. John Havlicek, he surpassed 2 players in the last game when he got 38 in Game 4 in Salt Lake.
And that tells you right there that Kobe, in his 13-year career, has been in a lot of playoff games. That shows you the winning mentality of that young man and of the Lakers organization.
Paul Millsap missing the first of 2. Neither team has done a great job at the free throw line. Lakers about 5 percentage points. Regular season 77%, 72% so far in the first 4 of the postseason. Millsap splits a pair, and it's a 2-point lead for Utah. Lamar Odom going to his weak side, and it's blocked away. Combination of Kirilenko and Millsap doing a good job of the recovery. Ronnie Brewer for an easy one. So it starts at the defensive end for the Utah Jazz on the quick run out. They lead by 4. Brewer gets his second basket.
Lamar tried to get to the rim that time, and that's what the Lakers have to do. Get to the rim and get it inside the foul.
Trevor Ariza. And Lamar wasn't ready for the pass. Trevor looked like he could have come out under the basket. It'll be Williams for 3. Real brick. And Ariza tapped it away from Brewer. Quickly ahead, Kobe has Pau Gasol. Easy 2 on the dunk. 14-12.
Good recognition that time. First with the defensive rebound to get the outlet pass out fast, and then Kobe with the quick release.
Yeah, so often we talk about early offense, get your share of easy baskets. That's definitely one of those for the Lakers. Nobody gets Boozer. And he couldn't finish. Knocked away by Millsap. Laker basketball. They're down by 2, 14-12. 4:46 left in the first. They only started yet to score Derek Fisher.
You talk about getting your share of the easy ones, the outlet pass past midcourt, and then Kobe, without putting it on the floor, delivers to Powell.
LO blocked inside, fills it up outside. Lakers by 1, 15-14. And over the last few weeks, since he moved into the starting lineup, different jump shot completely. The way he uses his legs and elevates. Good sign for down the road to the postseason for the Lakers. Gasol on the deflection.
See, now, if his hands were a little bit more in the ready position, he could have picked that pass off as opposed to just deflecting it.
Into the clock. Williams, you knew he was going up. Shot clock was down to about 6. Off the Kobe pick. A good idea against Kirilenko.
And you got to be careful against Kirilenko. You just can't relax.
Handoff, Fish gets the layup. He was frustrated around the rim the last one, wasn't he? 17-14 Lakers by 3, and all 5 starters on the board. Good balance. Williams, hot one. They say it's deflected by the Lakers. That was going to be tough anyway for Millsap to control.
That's good interior look, though, by Deron Williams. Good penetration. Try a little shovel. That little shovel pass sometimes can be hard to pick up.
He's averaging 12 assists a game, more than anybody else in the postseason. Good help defense. Down low. Looked like it was going to be available inside, but the Lakers recovered. Now 7 of the shot clock. And Williams knew he was going to get the whistle. Phil Jackson was upset the last game a few times. When we were sitting close to the bench, and you and I heard it talking about the way he cups the basketball. And the way he puts his hands on the side of the basketball, there's a certain advantage. The way lead guards handle it now.
You can let the officials be aware of it and be aware of it and be aware of it, but they don't seem to call it against certain players. So it's almost like you're screaming on deaf ears.
Right now with a minute 28 left in New Orleans, Denver 118, New Orleans 60. Hard to believe. So 2-point Laker lead. Well, Laker fans, Fox Sports West is now on Twitter. Follow us at twitter.com/Fox Sports West to receive breaking news, updates on your favorite Southern California teams. So twitter.com/Fox Sports West. Put in your favorite places. The Lakers by 1 as Williams gets a pair at the free throw line. His first 2 points of the game. Mismatch downstairs. With a double. Good recognition. Gasol found Fish. Fish now 1 for 4. After that miss from 3. So the Lakers shooting 50%, 46% thus far for the Utah Jazz. Fourth rare when Williams gives up the dribble. And Kobe playing center field. Was he off Kirilenko? Because Brewer looked like he had Fisher on him.
And Kirilenko is starting to step into shots, and that's what you have to do as an offensive player.
So 4 straight by the Jazz. 1-point lead for Utah, 18-17. Extra pass. The challenge. Fish. Derek Fisher gives the Lakers a 19-18 lead with a second bucket.
1-point lead, and just about 2.5 to go here. Let's see how the Lakers clean it up as far as their defense.
Gasol's got the foul. And that'll take us to a timeout.
Well, Boozer, if I'm Pau Gasol, I'd go over to the official and tell him to watch his off arm.
Just a little.
Pau just said the Lakers leading by 1, but free throws coming to Carlos Boozer with the Lakers up 19-18 and Kirilenko scoring. The Land Rover designed for the extraordinary with the Lakers up by 1. What a play. When the outlet pass is to midcourt and then the next pass is to the basket, you know you're going to get something good. That's the way you run in transition. That first pass to midcourt, you got numbers. You've got the advantage, and you've got something very extraordinary.
Coaches love it when the play takes that long.
I mean, it's amazing when you can get a defensive rebound and get it to midcourt.
The Laker fans, log on to foxsports.com right now or lakers.com to watch Lakers ISOCAM. You can watch an exclusive isolation camera feed of your favorite players. And you can vote on the players you'd like to see. Keyword is ISOCAM. So the Lakers, that was not in the act of shooting. It'll be the Jazz bringing it in. And the Lakers lead by 1, 19-18.
And they bring in a different backcourt.
And Lamar, secondary defender. Shannon Brown, who just checked in, with Sasha Vujacic picking it up. Elo with the stop. Sizing things up. And there's Kirilenko again. Taking it away on the break. Williams. And it's Trevor Ariza batting it away from behind on the break to Lakers. Lamar Odom all the way to the hole. He'll get the roll.
What a defensive play.
Wow.
2 sequences in a row. The first one by Lamar and the next one by Trevor. You talk about secondary defenders. Wow.
Early block party, back-to-back as you mentioned. Lakers by 3, 21-18. They like the defense. Kirilenko, he's filling it up early, isn't it? That was just inside the three-point line. He's got a half dozen.
Okay,
6 points early.
Now you know he's got that offensive mindset, and now you're playing. Make him put it on the floor and be a creator.
Sasha coming off the pick. And on the deflection. Looks like points off a turnover for Ronnie Brewer. And it will be. 2-point lead for the Jazz, 22-21. And right now they are up 7-2 in points off mistakes. As it's 6-2, you see the turnovers double up for the Lakers. Got to protect the basketball.
Yeah, you can't be careless, especially anywhere near where Kirilenko and Brewer are.
Final minute of the first. Sasha wanted to use the glass. Picked up Lamar Odom's length. Boy, quick hands. He gave up the dribble. And a fresh shot clock for the Lakers.
All right, with Kobe out of the game, but either Lamar or Powell have to really get into the box area.
Trevor Ariza, he'll get into the box and to the rim. 23-22.
And I was talking about Trevor's ankle not being 100%. Not the way he's playing right now.
Trampoline's alive and well. 2 for 1 for Darren Williams. Step back. It'll rattle home. Looked out of his hands like it could have been long. And that's 4 for Williams, his first basket of the game. Over the top, the lead, save. What a save. And a triple. What an assist by Pau Gasol.
Well, good recognition and awareness by Powell, because that pass from Shannon Brown was not very good.
Lakers by 2. Final shot coming up for the Utah Jazz. So the Lakers at 55%, Jazz 53%. They get the final stop. Darren Williams sets it up. And he found some space. Look out. Now Sasha got to get it off. He will. A 3. A little bit too strong. A solid start for the Lakers. They got to clean up the turnovers, though.
Yeah, they got to clean up the turnovers, get the ball more on the inside, and they'll be okay. Both teams shooting at a very high percentage after the first quarter. We start the second quarter where we started the first. Tied 26-26. The Laker offside defense, though, sparkling on successive plays, and they're going to need a lot more of that as this game unfolds. Started the second quarter with the game tied at 26, and that man, Trevor Ariza, how's he been in the first 12 minutes? Well, been like Lexus, pursuing perfection. From the field, 2 for 2. The basket, but the play that everyone was talking about was the defensive play he made on Darren Williams, prevented an easy score. Then he followed it up with another highlight play. Offensive rebound, the putback. Trevor Ariza doing it on a bum ankle. I'd say he's playing hurt.
And filling up the box.
Yeah.
Helping the Lakers also to a 2-1 advantage at the end of the first. On the boards, 10-5. Is one of the keys coming in for the Lakers to make sure that the Jazz didn't get too many second chance opportunities. One game earlier in this series, they had 20 offensive rebounds.
Andrew checks in. Let's see if they go to him early to see if they can get him going.
Quick catch and shoot. Lamar keeps it alive with Bynum, who cradles it. It's taken away from behind, but Bynum will get into the mix, and I like it. Jump ball because Brevin Knight, the little guy, got in there. Lamar kept it alive initially.
Yeah, he kept it alive. When Andrew got it, he tried to bounce it to get his balance. A lot of times you say, why do bigs dribble the ball under there? They're just trying to get their balance. Bring it down. Brewer gets a hand on it, forces the jump ball. The Lakers should control the tip if Andrew gets ready before the official does.
So Kobe stays on the floor with Shannon Brown, Sasha, Andrew Bynum, and Lamar Odom. And controlled easily up against Ronnie Brewer. So close to a fresh shot clock. It's kicked by Korver. A break for the Lakers. Easily could have been deflected anyway. 18 left on the shot clock. Brevin Knight has come in for the first time. Brewer's going to sit down now. C.J. Miles in, and Kyle Korver also in.
Now they've got 2 real good perimeter shooters. So if you try to help off of Korver or C.J. Miles, you'll pay a price.
You talked about Pau Gasol getting some touches. Let's see if they can find Andrew Bynum on the block up against. And he comes out of the high post this time. Mehmet Okur.
Look to shoot.
Got to go up. And Lamar sees it. Challenge 3. Boy, is Lamar on. Almost on the sideline. Lakers by 3. LO into double figures with 10 and 5 early.
Man, all the pressure off when the clock down like that, and Lamar just zeroed in.
Millsap up against Andrew Bynum. He's going to have some space. What a brick. Didn't get the rim. Lamar on the push. Nobody accounts for Kobe. Got him. Burn him. 32-26.
Why would you account for number 24? He can't shoot.
Leave him open.
Leave him open.
With that flying elbow. 10:40 left in the half.
He's picture perfect.
I know. C.J. Miles up against Kobe. You said you got to stay with Miles because he can shoot. And so can the guy with the basketball. Step back real core. Difficult one because the defense of Lamar Odom leaks out. I like the lead by Sasha. Shannon Brown on the wing. Almost money. Right on line in front of us, but a little bit long.
That would have been one of those ones that maybe started a little bit of a spurt that got the Jazz thinking about,
I thought Jerry Sloan was out of his bench for a timeout already. Miles pop it up. And right back to Sasha Vujacic. So the Lakers at 50%, 48% still for the Utah Jazz after the miss. Kobe up against a longer defender. Man, was he cracked by Miles. Loses it, stays with it, and goes to the line. He's only surrounded by 3.
You know, normally when a player has the ball tipped away like that, the defense comes up with it. But Kobe is so relentless, it's ridiculous. And the Lakers now up by 6 after back-to-back three-pointers. First, Lamar. Nice. And then Kobe says, nobody's going to guard me? You got to be joking me. Now he goes to the line to shoot 2.
Josh Powell is going to be coming in between the free throws. And Lamar, well-deserved break. He hasn't left the floor yet. This is his first opportunity to head over to the bench.
And I wouldn't have him over there very long.
He's hot.
I'd try to put this game away as fast as possible.
The Lakers have their largest lead now at 7. Biggest at the end of the first 12 was only 3 points.
Because you win this game, you got some extra days rest. Guys can get their legs back.
So an 8-0 start for the Lakers. It's tied at 26 at the end of the first. 34-26 Lakers.
And you have to take advantage of Boozer and Darren Williams on the sideline.
And Sasha all over Korver, who takes it into the backcourt. But did he take a dribble first to retrieve it? Entry from Millsap. Good save by Millsap. Looked like a turnover. Miles gets the dribble. That's what he's going to do. He's going to space. He's got a long-range jumper. 34-29, Lakers by 5. Shannon Brown. He's fast. He's quick. Kobe on the hesitation. He could have been called for a carry there. Ill-advised pass. Bynum lets it go, and that's a break.
Yeah, because Shannon Brown and Andrew were there, and they were like, which one's going to get it? It's a good thing they both let it go, because if they try to save that, probably goes to the Jazz. As it turned out, the Jazz was the team that hit it last.
7 on the shot clock for the Lakers. Back door is not available. First look for Bynum. Kobe working on Miles. A little fall away. Josh Powell had good position. Took himself out of it against the smaller man, Brevin Knight.
There's another one of those shooters.
Real long, though. You can tell right away. Josh Powell cleans it up for the Lakers. They're at 16-7, a +9 on the boards.
Try to go inside to Andrew now. You got to get him involved.
Bring him on. Bring him to the other side. Kobe leaves Miles and goes to the line, looking for the three-point play. He lulled him to sleep a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, and then a change of direction. CJ was thinking, oh, here comes a screen, and all of a sudden there was no screen. It was just a blur going by him, baseline. And with that, we got a timeout. 8:35 to go in the second quarter. The Lakers up 36-29. Lamar got this thing started with his three-pointer. Then Kobe followed it up with one of his own. And since then, the Lakers have enjoyed at least a 6-point lead.
Lakers by 7. Just saw a sign they put up on the big screen here at Staples Center, and it had the freeway to Salt Lake City. It said Salt Lake City North, gone fishing. We like it. Lakers by 7, and Kobe's going to the line when they put it back into play. Laker fans, Fox Sports West is now on Twitter. Follow us all at twitter.com/Fox Sports West to receive breaking news, updates, and keep up with all of your favorite teams here in Southern California as we head down now to Patrick O'Neill. Patrick.
Joel, thoughts and prayers with a very important member of the Lakers family. 87-year-old Tex Winter remains hospitalized in Manhattan, Kansas after suffering a stroke Saturday morning. Tex is right now in intensive care and expected to remain there for a couple of few days, eventually be moved to a care unit for some rehab. Right now, Tex is only taking calls from family. Phil Jackson attempted to get through to Tex before the game, was unable to do so. And Tex was returning to Kansas State for a reunion where he coached for 15 years, starting back in the 50s, led them to a couple of Final Fours, getting that triangle going. And Tex is a huge part of Phil Jackson and Kobe Bryant, the rest of this team. So, you know what, we're all thinking about Tex Winter right now. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. And Joel, he's just a great guy. He's a consultant this year with the Lakers, calls himself an insult and never afraid to speak his mind, but definitely we're all pulling for him.
No, Patrick, first of all, we all love Tex Winter. And Stu, you've been around him longer than me. He's such a big part of the Laker family.
He's just been involved with basketball so long. I mean, he and I go back to college days. He was at Kansas State coaching when I was at Nebraska. We played against each other for 4 consecutive years, and then he coached that 1 year in Houston. So it was really a nice pleasure to be working with him.
Andrew Bynum set it up at the block. Sasha can get the 3. It was a late challenge and a good one as they came out. Lakers by 8. They have matched their largest lead of the game. So Tex, get back in a hurry. Miles long. He already has a 3-pointer. Shannon Brown very alert of Millsap behind him. Sasha, this time, the man is a machine. 40-29. Sasha with his second on a 6th try.
He's never seen a shot he didn't like.
You got it.
But I tell you, when you can shoot that well and you get an open look like that, go ahead, Sasha.
Korver denied because Sasha closed. Okor fouled, and it may have been Sasha coming from behind on the reach.
I think it was. But those are the kind of plays, though, you got to make players like Okor, who's not healthy, finish those kind as Sasha gets his open look and knocks down the 3 to give the Lakers their 11-point advantage. And now Mehmet Okor to the line to cut into that with 2 free throws.
And give this guy credit from what we saw in the last game. Stu, he couldn't move. He wasn't himself. The 29-year-old with 7 years Turkey gets the first free throw. But an extra day of treatment, day off, and he's back at it in an elimination game.
And that's one of the reasons why I said, you got to make him work. I mean, if he's going to put on his uniform, you don't feel sorry for him. He's got to go. So if he's not 100%, work him over.
Lakers by 10. And Andrew Bynum is on the floor to try to do that right now. See if they get Bynum. Kobe's going to be strong. And it's picked up by Okor. Well, Andrew Bynum, not many touches down on the block.
Not many.
How about none?
Try none.
Yeah, the one time he caught it, it was the high post. A couple of times out there. 10 on the shot clock. Darren Williams back on the floor. And on the switch, pass goes right through. He's had more turnovers than you normally see, but he's played so many minutes, and so much of the onus has been put on him to score and assist.
And I think a lot, too, the Lakers have done a pretty good job of trying to wall him at times, building that wall, forcing him to make passes that his teammates can't seem to retrieve.
The Lakers get it back. Now can they make him pay? Andrew Bynum working against Okor. And on the spin, it'll be Josh Powell locked up. Millsap's got the foul. But still, good to see the ball go to Big Drew.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get it lower, though. He got it so high, then had to try to back his man in off the dribble. That gives the defender, the second defender, more time to get over there, and then that freed up Josh Powell, who's working the offensive glass.
Bring it in on the side. Fresh shot clock for the Lakers, and we're almost halfway through the second 12. 6.5 minutes left in the first half. Kirilenko back on Kobe. That's the way it started tonight. And he goes right by Kirilenko. Floater. He thought he was clipped. He didn't get there. Kirilenko on the run. Bam. Maneuvers his way to the basket. 8-point Laker lead at 40-32.
This is where you have to try to stop these kind of mini spurts. You go up by 11. You can't go dry so many trips down and let them come back in the scoring department.
Kirilenko holding Kobe. They were wrestling for a while in there before the whistle.
Yeah, and I think they caught the first foul there because Kobe was giving it just as well as he was taking it. That's what got Jerry Sloan off the bench, telling the officials, watch Kobe throwing those elbows.
He thought he was fouled on his run to the rim by Kirilenko the last time.
And now he's working for position. as they jockey. And there's a lot of work in the low post, and Kobe's not afraid of contact, believe me. We've got a timeout with 6:04 to go in the half, and the Lakers' 11-point lead no longer. But it's still at 8. Possession of the ball, Los Angeles.
Lakers have the basketball when they put it back into play. There's 6:04 left in the half with an 8-point advantage. Well, log on to foxsports.com right now, or even the Lakers website at lakers.com. And you can watch the Lakers ISOCam, or you can watch an exclusive isolation camera feed of your favorite players. Be sure to vote on the players you'd like to see. Keyword there, when you log on, is ISOCam. This is not a typo or misprint on our graphics department. That final 121-63 is accurate, and that ties the largest margin for a playoff victory. The previous had been the St. Louis Hawks loss to the Minneapolis Lakers. And that was back in March of 1956, a 133-75 game. Out of the timeout. Another turnover for the Lakers.
That's the way you get a team back in the game.
Right. Give more chances. 7 turnovers for the Lakers compared to 4 catch-and-shoot corner. And out of the corner of his eye, that challenge by Ariza, who didn't quit on the play. So Trevor Ariza back out there with Derek Fisher. Kobe, Pau Gasol, Lamar Odom. That's the 5-some on the floor for the Lakers. Kobe wheeling right past Korver, all the way to the rack. Lakers by 10. Kobe has 14.
Aside from Kirilenko, there's really not a shot blocker out there. So if you can attack the rim or get it into the post, do so.
Pick by Millsap. And Ariza tried to get around it, hooked Kyle Korver.
You know, the last basket the Lakers got on their trip down was Kobe just probing and then all of a sudden attacking the paint and just goes in, and everybody's flat-footed for the Jazz defensively, just lays it in.
It's kind of surprising that Korver ended up with Kobe. It had been Kirilenko. Quick catch and shoot. And Boozer kept it alive. Second chance. Williams will save it.
That's the other way to get a team back in the game.
Yeah, that's something that plagued the Lakers earlier in the series. Last game, they were exceptional. Kirilenko on a late close by Kobe. So Kirilenko has 10 on 5 of 7. And it's back to 8. Inside of 5 to play. So the Lakers cannot lose them early. It's a veteran team. Gasol sets up. Trevor Ariza, a lot of space. Trevor gets him. And what a beginning for Trevor Ariza. Hasn't missed. He's got 7 with 3 boards and 3 assists.
That time Powell with the dribble assist. Normally when he's been putting it on the floor across the middle, they've been making life miserable for him.
Williams, step back and a real awkward looking shot. Millsap on the deflection, picked up by Ariza. Lakers have some numbers if they want them. Ariza, nobody stopped the basketball. And he'll go to the line. And he recognized that because all of a sudden there was space.
That's why you get the ball in the middle and you don't really give it up until the defense commits. Unless you've got such a numbers advantage and a guy ahead of you. They never stopped the basketball until he was in the act of shooting a layup. And he's mad at himself. He's saying, what are you doing? You don't normally make those. But you got 2 free throws coming to you nonetheless.
And now the Lakers could really expand the lead, and I bring that up because of the foul situation team-wise. The Lakers only have 2 team fouls with 4:18 to play in the half, while the Jazz have the Lakers at the line for the final 4:18. Matt Harpring in for the first time. I'm kind of surprised it took that long.
I'm surprised that they waited so long for Harpring to come in. He's the guy that really injected the life in order for them to get their 1 victory, because without him in the 4th quarter of Game 3, they'd already be on vacation.
That's the first miss of the night for Ariza. It comes at the stripe. So he's got 8 and 4. And nobody denies Darren Williams.
And that was like 1 on 3.
Yep.
Where was the secondary defense? I mean, if you're there, you got to make a play on it.
46-36. Lakers still by 10. Lamar Odom on the screen and roll. Kobe wanted to go back that way. Tied up by Harpring. And will Ariza be able to save it? Nope. Another turnover. Got caught in the air. Left his feet for the pass.
Well, he wanted to throw it to Derek, and they took that one away after he lost his feet. I mean, after he left his feet. He tried to get it to Trevor, but off the mark.
And the Lakers still shooting 49%. 8 turnovers, though. Kirilenko, their hot hand. Boozer's not been much of a factor at the offensive end. He's only got 2 points. Williams off the front of the rim looking for a triple over the smaller Derek Fisher.
There it is. Nice entry pass. Nice come from the weak side.
Lamar taking Matt Harpring to task. Lamar battling on the offensive glass.
He's just too big for Matt Harpring.
12-8 for LO. And the Lakers lead by 12, 48-36. 3+ to play in the half.
Can't go for a steal there.
And Boozer had to take it away. He used the off arm a little bit to protect it with the left hand. Kobe waits.
Better hurry.
Talking about the 5. Gasol kept it alive. Boozer chases it down. Good attack by Kobe. Nice tap by Gasol. Harpring with Kirilenko. And free throws coming up for Andre Kirilenko. Trevor Ariza backing his way into him.
Kobe trying to figure out why he's not on the free throw line. And because he asked the official, they were late getting back. And that's what gave the Jazz numbers advantage. We go to a timeout. 2:42 to go in the first half. The Lakers up by 12. And Trevor Ariza, sore ankle and all, making things happen.
Not a bad first half so far for the Lakers. They're on top of the Jazz, looking to close things out. Matter of moments, Norman and Rick will be right here. We'll be breaking things down on the Jack in the Box halftime report. We'll talk about Lamar and Trevor. And you're not going to believe, if you haven't seen it already, the Denver-New Orleans score. And we hope Rick doesn't imitate Wolverine. But he might. That's all coming up on the Jack in the Box halftime report, Joel. It's all yours.
All right, Bill. Not a lot of people at the end of that game in New Orleans for that Denver-New Orleans matchup. John McEnroe, Pete Diddy. As mentioned, it is a tough ticket tonight. Will Ferrell up on the big screen. I love the former USC Trojan. Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire. So downtown LA, it was the place to be tonight. As the Lakers try to wrap it up, and Kirilenko goes to the line out of the timeout. 2:42, and we've talked about the way the Lakers close, whether it's a 12-minute period, whether it's a half, a game. How do they close the final 2:42 of the half?
Well, consistently in this series, they haven't really closed that well. I mean, when you look back in this series, they've had, leads, and I've allowed the Jazz to cut into that lead right before halftime especially. So let's see what they do with a 12-point lead now. Let's say at a 10-point lead with this free throw here with 2:42 to play. How do they win, or how do they play in the final 2:42? Do they win it or not?
They've done a good job defensively in the second. 4:15 in the quarter. That's 27% for Utah. Lamar behind the screen. And the long rebound out to Darren Williams. So the Lakers at 45%, 43% for the Jazz. Boozer has not done what we expected offensively to keep them a little bit closer. Darren Williams and Kirilenko, they've been the catalyst. Now Kirilenko setting up Matt Harpring. Matt Harpring gives him an assist. 48-40 with 2 to play. Now that's the first basket of the game for Harpring. So the Lakers have had some big leads in this series. 22 at the half of game 1, up by as many as 20, and another turnover. They were up by 13, even in the game 3 loss, and then 24 in game 4. So sustaining those leads, killer instinct we talk about.
Well, again, another turnover, and we talked about how they closed the final 2:42. Well, so far, not so good.
9 turnovers for the Lakers compared to only 4 for the Jazz. And off the miss, Trevor Ariza will clear it away. Lamar's got the advantage on the box if they go in that direction. Little slip for Gasol, and he's hammered by Harpring. So free throws.
That's a nice pass by Kobe.
Yep.
Just off the dribble, a bounce pass right between the defenders. Powell gobbles it up and gets fouled.
So a blindside hit. 15-yard penalty on Harpring and 2 free throws for Gasol. Let's head over. Patrick O'Neal.
All right, Joel, thank you very much. We just saw Harpring with that hard foul. The reason perhaps he didn't come into this game until, late in the second quarter is because at the shoot-around today, ice bags on his right knee, right ankle. He's definitely not 100%. What Jerry Sloan loves about this guy is that he wants to guard Kobe Bryant. Problem is, Jerry says he's just not fast enough. Jerry says a lot of these guys come in and want to guard Kobe Bryant. Then they get out there and they're like, whoops, mistake. He did say about Harpring, one of the toughest guys ever he's seen. Top 3 or 4 coming from Sloan. That's quite a compliment.
Everybody in his family has played football. I mean, granddad, dad, brother. He's one of the few that have tried the round ball. And it's taken away. Stripped cleanly. Fish took it away from Boozer on the run. Ariza, how about the trail? Lamar Odom. 52-40.
What a decision by Trevor, though. I mean, normally Trevor tries to attack the rim, but I think he's really slowed himself down with that ankle being sore, and he's made some very good decisions.
Boozer. And Lamar tries to and will, with the help of Trevor Ariza, keep it away from Harpring. The solid leaked out. That wasn't available any longer. So the Lakers have their biggest lead of the game. Can they add to it? Lamar up against Harpring. And opposite side, Harpring's got the foul.
That's where Lamar has the biggest advantage, obviously, against Harpring, is on the box. But the Lakers get the steal by Derek Fisher, just stripping Carlos Boozer, just taking it out of his hands, basically. And that led to the transition game where Trevor made such a nice decision. Passes it to Lamar, who lays it up, lays it in. Nice play.
And you see Fisher's foot. If his foot is all the way down, he's on the baseline. It was up on its toe, and he's headed the other way on the push-off. LO gives the Lakers their largest lead of the game, and I like this by Phil Jackson. Trevor Ariza has been maybe the most complete player on the floor tonight for the Lakers, besides Lamar Odom. And Trevor's got 8-6 rebounds with 4 assists.
Yeah, and Phil taking him out because he has 2 fouls.
Right.
He's the only Laker with 2 fouls, so good substitution by PJ.
How about Lamar? 16 points, 8 boards. And a 14-point game as Darren Williams tied up, is going to the free throw line for 2. The Lakers 10 of 11 at the stripe, 6 of 8 for the Utah Jazz before these 2 for Williams. And one of the keys coming in, Stu, is the graphic we're looking at now. How about the boards? 2-1.
Yeah, that is key. You must win the battle of the boards. The first couple of games, especially on the offensive glass, in game 1, I believe, even though the Lakers won, the Jazz did a real good job on the offensive glass.
20 offensive rebounds in that game.
That's enough for 3 games. I'm serious.
That's right.
You give up more than 7-8 offensive rebounds a game, and you got some concerns. And they give up 20 in 1 game?
It's been a focal point of the Lakers, and they did a super job last game. Outboarded the Jazz, took care of it. 46-39, long one. And Harpring will get it. Kirilenko tries to make it a 4-point trip, and it'll come out. They'll call the foul on Fish on the push. Well, Boozer was pushing Odom. Fisher was pushing Boozer. It was like dominoes out there. I love it.
Well, Boozer goes to the line, and he's been awfully quiet. Only 1 out of 5 from the field, looking for his 3rd point, his first trip to the charity stripe.
Yeah, this is a guy that's averaged 23 and 14 on 54% shooting over the first 4 games. And how about 38 rebounds for Carlos Boozer over the last 2 games as he gets the first free throw. He's only got 3 boards in 17 minutes tonight. That really demonstrates the way the Lakers have protected the rim. Because that's the one thing he has always done, even if it's off for him offensively. So a 12-point Laker lead.
He may only have 3 points right now, but before the night is over, he'll probably be around the 18 to 24 mark. But if he waits too long, it'll be meaningless because the game will be over.
He gets both at the stripe, and it's back to 11. 31.5 seconds left in the half. Kobe leads the Lakers. No, it's Lamar Odom with 16. Kobe's got 14 on 4 of 10. He's been able to get to the line, though. He's 5 of 5 there. Milk the shot clock. About a 7.5 second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Kobe saw a crease. And on the deflection. Who's got it? He's got to go up. He won the fall away. Do you believe it?
Just
he knew it.
He drew it up.
He knew it, too. He had to get it away in a hurry. Lakers by 13. Final shot, Darren Williams. Lakers do not have a foul to give. The challenge, a real good one. That kind of summarizes the whole first half of the Lakers. The stops, the defense, the boards. They held the Jazz to 43 on 40% shooting.
Well, Kobe was just about a turnover waiting to happen there, but somehow the ball gets tipped by Powell, by Harpring, by Boozer, and all of a sudden it's free. And when it's free, Kobe gobbles it up, puts it in just like Phil Jackson drew the play up. Kobe, you're just remarkable. Your instincts to know what to do at that time, something special.
Halftime continues in Southern California, a closeout game, and can the Lakers wrap it up with a 13-point lead at the break over the Utah Jazz? Welcome back once again. Joel Myers alongside Stu Lance, and a lot to like about what the Lakers did in the first half, especially the defensive end, holding the Jazz to 40%, 43 points. And what about the play of Trevor Ariza?
Well, it all goes with the defense, you know, and that's what the Lakers were lacking last season in the finals, was some of that defense that Trevor Ariza can bring. So when you talk about the way the Lakers played, yes, I'm impressed with the defensive end, but he also had an impact on the offensive end. He was 3 for 3 from the field in the first half, but the defensive play that he made on Darren Williams, that's the play that everybody was talking about at halftime, and they're hoping and praying that they'll see a little bit more of that in the second half. But holding this team to 43 points is the most impressive thing, and allowing only 40% shooting, and that's what they have to continue to work on in the second 24 minutes, and they have to do that by keeping Boozer under check, and if they do that, I think they'll close out the Utah Jazz. As we like to do, we like to find out what the coaching staff thinks about it. We're outside the Lakers locker room with Patrick O'Neill. Pat?
Okay, thanks very much with Lakers assistant coach Frank Hamblin. And, well, this could be our last halftime interview, Frank, as long as you guys do your job in the second half with that 13-point lead. I imagine the start of the third quarter extremely important.
Yeah, we talk to our players about that. It is very important, especially the first 5 minutes. We want to set a tone. You know, we're going to increase the intensity on this team. You know, this is what we want to, the message we want to send to Utah. I thought we played well the first half, the second quarter in particular. We shot the ball well in all three categories, and rebounded basketball also.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. And defensively, and you got those rebounds, killed him on the glass, and doing a great job on Carlos Boozer.
Good job on Boozer. We're letting Karolinko, though, we've got to let him get off a little, so we're going to do a better job of not letting him make open shots on us.
Thanks so much all season long, Frank. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. There's Frank Hamblin, guys. Back to you.
All right, Patrick, and will it be Don Fisher for the Utah Jazz for the second half of play tonight? Well, the first 5, and let's see if the Lakers have the intensity, the focus they had earlier in the game, if they can maintain that, as Frank Hamblin just said. 10 on the shot clock for Derek Fisher. Setting it up for a wide-open Trevor Ariza. And the long rebound for Lamar Odom. Boy, what a heads-up play. Elo always finding his teammates.
Well, you know, when you talk about bigs that can pass, you have to really compliment the Lakers, because whether it's Lamar, Powell, you know, they really get it done on the inside.
Largest lead of the game now for the Lakers is 15. Ronnie Brewer. And it stays out for Pau Gasol. So the Lakers dominated the boards, outshot them, did all the little things, and Frank Hamblin talked about all three categories. It's off the lip of the rim for Kobe on a almost behind the glass kind of shot.
Almost. He was behind the glass.
Darren Williams and Millsap underneath. Make it through. Boozer goes to the free throw line of the foul. So Carlos Boozer couldn't do it from the field, 1 for 5 of the first half.
Well, Boozer's one of those players that you just have to know. You know when he's inside, he's going to finish with his left hand. So don't stay on his right shoulder. Try to lean toward that left side and make a play. As he gets fouled, he'll go to the line and see if he can add to his point total, which is rather low for him.
Well, he mentioned Pau Gasol and Trevor Ariza, the only two Lakers with a couple of fouls in the first half, and now very early. Only a minute gone by, Pau has a third to start the third. Boozer, he brings it way back like a slingshot. Had an air ball. They let play on, but it was short by almost a foot. Had one other attempt in the 2 games in Utah that grazed the front of the rim. So you better be ready when he shoots it. 58-44. That was going to be long and a good box out, but Gasol didn't control it, even though he backed out Okur. Karolinko, and this time Pau goes up with some authority.
Now, that's the key. Jump to get the rebound. Don't just assume because you're 7 foot that you're going to get it, because the guy you're playing against is 7 foot.
Now Kobe up against the longer Karolinko. He wanted to go to Gasol, and Gasol tied up, held up. Boozer's got the foul. Kobe saw him early.
Yeah, and did the right pivot. Pivoted not toward the middle of the floor, but toward the baseline. That's what freed him up to make that bounce pass. So Powell will go to the charity stripe and see if he can convert 2.
Gasol with 8 and 6. And make it 8 and 5 at the first half. Just got that rebound at the other end. But filling up the box, just like Trevor Ariza and Lamar Odom.
Well, in the first two games here at Staples Center, the front court of the Lakers really did a job,
right,
numbers-wise, against the Jazz. So that's not unusual to see them all three again in good shape.
Real short by Gasol. And now Lamar Odom with Ariza teeing it up. Trevor's got it this time. And the Lakers expand the lead early to 18, 62-44.
Now this is where you got to tighten the screws. Well, you got to try to blow this one wide open.
Top of the first 5 of the third. Put him away. Okoro stepping back. And
top push?
Yeah. Carlos Boozer, and they'll call the foul on the Lakers. Kobe.
He's calling the foul on Trevor, and Boozer
pushed Kobe into almost a bend-over position. Third foul on Ariza.
You gotta love it. As Booze pushing him with, and they call Trev with the hold. So which happened first, the hold on Trevor or the push on Booze? Obviously, they said the hold on Trevor.
Lamar Odom blocks it away. He blocks the Kirilenko try next to the rim. So the Lakers out of the blocks very quickly here in the third. It continues, and down to 36% shooting from 40% at the break.
Well, why is the shot clock at 24?
Right. Never touched the rim. Home court advantage. Phil Jackson wants to know the same thing. So let's see what they put up on the clock. It'll be 21. It came after the foul, don't forget, a miss, and then the foul that they called on Ariza. So almost 2 minutes gone by in the third. The Lakers would have the remainder of the week. The second round, the conference semis, would start here over the weekend. And Brewer stayed with the play. He showed some strong hands there because Kobe was trying to take it away behind.
You see Boozer push Powell off the floor?
It's a natural habit.
Pushed him off the floor. Yeah. If you can get away with it, more power to you.
And that's what Pau Gasol was just talking about with Steve Jabbing. Now Lamar losing him on the crossover. Crawls it home over the lip of the rim.
Second time he's changed directions on Boozer, and he scored on both of them.
18 points, 9 rebounds for Lamar Odom. What a difference maker. Once again tonight, Elo has been as he was in game 4. Kobe read the pass, took it away from Brewer. Lakers have the floor spread. Bounce wasn't available. Now the clear out. Gasol up against Okoro. Not exactly a clean catch for Trevor Ariza. Lamar, real short. And Okoro will clear it out. But the Lakers have done a good job. How about 7 for 15 from beyond the arc? In tight quarters. Trevor Ariza comes away with it after the mistake by Williams. No look for Gasol. Back to Kobe. And it'll be a foul before the shot.
A nice pass by Powell, but when you're on the wing and you catch the ball in stride, ride that bad boy up and try to bring the basket down. It all started with turnovers again as the Lakers have really congested the painted area, making it difficult for dribble penetration. Powell with the pass. Kobe gets fouled. He'll go to the line and see if he can add to an 18-point advantage.
He's got 16 points. 5 of those 16 coming to the free throw line. Make it 6 of 17. He is 6 of 6 at the stripe. Lakers much better at the line tonight. 86%. A lot better. So up to 19 for the Lakers. It's 13 at the break. Trying to just take some time off before the Western Conference semis. They get the roll. Boozer's got the board. So his first miss at the stripe. Third for the Lakers as a group. Kobe staying around. Kirilenko. Williams on the run out. Bad pass. Boozer will get it. Boozer gets the fall away. Brewer threw a pass inside. They didn't know it was coming. Lamar Odom deflected.
Again, the Lakers made them work their offense a little bit longer. That's what one of the keys is.
Kobe lost the handle under pressure, and it goes the other way. That's the first turnover of the second half for the Lakers. Their 10th for the game.
I like the idea, though. A little bit of a backdoor situation. Kobe got a little bump, but couldn't hold on to the ball.
So it was as high as 19. Now it's 17. We talk about putting teams away. That instinct that the staff is looking for, especially this early in the postseason. Ariza. He didn't think he had the contact. But that now for Trevor Ariza is his 4th. Now the Lakers need to sub.
They will.
Sasha's going to be checking in. Gasol's got 3. You've got Bynum backing him up if need be, if he gets his 4th. But still, we're only about 4 minutes into the 3rd. So that's a blow for the Lakers. One of the most effective in the first half has to sit down. And Trevor heads over there with 11 points, 6 boards, and 4 assists. Boy, it sure looked like he had jumped that route cleanly. Of course, couldn't ask for a better look. And Lamar Odom. Double-double, 18 and 10 early with 4 assists. Powell's always thinking pass, isn't he? Lamar shoved by Boozer. He uses the hands, doesn't he? Either end of the floor. Two-hander by Boozer.
Again, Powell catching it, catches it under control, jump stop. So he's actually in that situation. When you come to that jump, you can use either foot as your pivot foot. So he waits, then finds Lamar, and Boozer just reaches out, says, let me see you shoot 2.
So second trip to the free throw line for Lamar. Successful the first time, 2 for 2. Can't say enough about the Lakers baseline. That was not looking good out of his hand, was it?
Nice thing, he had some nice rotation on it.
Look at the smile. So Lamar up to 19 and 10. He was the key last game. 15 rebounds for Lamar.
No, he can be the key every game. But he's such a nightmare for the opposition.
Right, matchup purposes. Try. Just try. Because he has so many weapons. Now that he's hitting the shot, using his legs from the outside, makes him a threat that you have to stay there. You close, he can go around you. Gasol popping it away. Now deep in the shot clock for Darren Williams. Take away Kobe. On the run. And they'll call the charge. Brewer got into position. For Kobe, it is his second foul.
Kobe knows it was a good call.
Yep, he's just headed the other way. And there won't be points off the turnover. Ronnie Brewer, now 4 for 7. He's got 8, so a good shooting percentage, even though he's not one of their choices. And that'll take us to a timeout with the Lakers comfortably in front by 19, but a lot of time.
Yeah, Phil Jackson has some things that he wants to say to his team. Even though they're up by 19, he's not completely happy, but that doesn't surprise anybody that knows coaches. Lakers will be having a big lead. When we return, we'll look at 2 coaches, Jerry Sloan and Phil Jackson, both Hall of Famers.
Lakers have just matched their largest lead of the game. They're up by 19. And welcome back to Staples Center. Joel Myers, along with Stu Lance, Patrick O'Neal. Man, these guys have gone at it just a few times. I talked about it very early tonight. The 2 that are in the Hall of Fame, and Phil's already there. Jerry's going this summer. Have been in the finals together a couple of times back in the late 90s. Michael Jordan had something to say about both those for Phil Jackson. 6 there, 3 with the Lakers. Jerry's still in search of his first. He's got a great point guard, but it may take a lot of retooling now for the Utah Jazz. But 2 guys that have gone at it, and both have big Chicago connections, don't forget. Phil Jackson winning those 6 championships with the Bulls, and Jerry Sloan, one of the best guards in Chicago Bulls history. 2 guys that we really like talking basketball about. Now, Kobe and the Lakers out of the break with a 19-point lead. Sasha in there. Ariza had to sit down. Sasha, right now after that, missed 2 for 7. He had a couple of triples in the first half. So the Lakers by 19. And can they put it away before the 4th even begins? That discouraged him completely. And then he thoughts of a comeback. Kirilenko getting into the paint. 67-50. He's up to 14. And he's the only member of the Utah Jazz in double figures.
As long as they can keep Boozer in check, I think they'll be in good shape.
That was solid. So close to the basket. Real strong. Going to occur. You mentioned Boozer 2 for 6. He's only got 7 points. Deep in the clock, Okur inside the arc. Never get to the rim, but it did. And Brewer read it well. He tracked it down. Second chance opportunity now. And Kobe got over, denying Okur. Is it thrown away? No, he'll save it on the sideline. Nice balancing act. Fish thought about it. A lot of time on the clock. And Gasol, a little step back. He'll get the roll. Lakers by 19 as Powell is in double figures with 11 and 7.
And the Lakers during that timeout, you look up and see that scoreboard. That's when you sometimes take that sigh of relief. You got to forget the scoreboard. Just keep playing as if you're tied or down a couple.
Yeah, don't lose the edge. Williams free and gets the triple. Wide open, down to 16. 69-53 Lakers. So Williams up to 12 with 6 assists in 25 minutes. And holds Derek Fisher trying to get through the pick of Pau Gasol. Third on Williams.
And you can see Okor, that last basket attempt that Kobe made him alter, he didn't leave the floor. I mean, you could have gotten the LA phone book under his feet.
You just brought
not the Utah phone book.
I like the point you brought up, though. When you look at the scoreboard and you've got 2.5, 3 minutes during the timeout, you don't want to lose it, but that edge that you had. Now Kobe tried to get it to Gasol. Lamar kept it alive, but it's a turnover just the same. And Williams will clear it away. No balance on the floor, but they'll get it inside to Carlos Boozer. Gasol comes away with it. A nightmare so far for Boozer. Fish was under him, but still, he's got to get that one. Kobe step through, off the glass. 71-53, creative, wasn't it?
A little jump hook by Kobe. That's nice.
Williams, a lot of dribbling, wanted to answer back. Tough one for Sasha. And he almost took it away from Kirilenko. And Williams shoots two.
Okay, now, if I'm Derek Fisher, I'd go over to Steve Javi and say, Steve, where did you want me to go on that play? I mean, seriously, he runs into me. Where do I go? And he says, well, do what Kobe does. Go somewhere. Just do something else. Just don't do that. That's a nice little play by Kobe. Off the glass, over Millsap. Oh, nice.
It was not a bad challenge, as we saw on the slow-mo. Millsap almost got there in time. Williams, the first of two. One
of the few times I've seen Kobe use that particular shot, but he's got every shot in the arsenal there, so it doesn't surprise me that he'll look to dig deep into his bag of tricks.
Real good balance again for the Lakers tonight. They're starting 5-4 in double figures. Both free throws by Williams. Flat, but go home. And it's down to 16. 71-55, the Lakers lead. Now how do they close the final 4.5? For 7.5, pretty strong. Lamar Odom on the box against the smaller Millsap. And it'll be Boozer with a good box out position. Kirilenko, real short. Leaking out is Kobe. He's tripped up by Javi. He'll save it, though. Nobody stops him. Do you believe it? Kobe, 73-55, all tangled up with Steve Javi.
Talk about recovery speed. My goodness, Kobe. Steve Javi says, whoa, I'm glad he scored because I didn't want to take the abuse of that frustration that's going to come afterwards.
Foul on Millsap. Or no, it'll be Fish on the clear, trying to get around Millsap. And all of a sudden, Fish gets his third.
What a play by Kobe, though. I mean, in transition, has a breakaway and trips over Steve Javi, but does it deter him? Not at all. And then he challenges two players. Lays it up. Lays it in. This guy is unbelievable. I mean, and it looks good in X mode too. Just go ahead up, Cole. What are you going to do with it? Come on.
Millsap misses the first. I think he was really surprised, though, that nobody came over to get him. They stayed right next to the rim, and he figured, well, if you're going to let me march there.
I think they felt he was going to somehow go out of bounds, lose his balance, and his momentum take him out of bounds. But what an athletic play.
Coming off a 38-point game. He's got 21 already, inside of 4 minutes left. It's still a 17-point Laker lead as Fish sits down with his third. Shannon Brown in for the first time in the second half. Sasha.
If you dribble up there, you better ask for help.
He got it from Pau Gasol. Goes away from the pick. Sasha on the reverse. Gasol tried to tap it. I like the idea. Got to curl it.
Another one of those $1 million moves that get the finishes.
Boozer, show and a go as he used Kirilenko as the decoy. So Carlos Boozer with 9. He's only taken 8 shots, made 3. 9 and 8 rebounds. 15-point Laker lead. So the closest the Jazz have been over the last 4 or 5 minutes. 8 on the shot clock. Deep three. Got it!
How deep?
Man, oh man. 76-58. Not too deep in the water for him.
Nothing's too deep in the water for him.
18-point Laker lead. Kobe up to 24. Brewer got Kobe out of position. Now in the paint. Does he throw it away? Yes. Sasha will save it. Behind his back for Kobe. The dunk by Gasol. How about that pass? 20-point Laker lead, and they love it at Staples. Taken away by Shannon Brown on a run out with Lamar Odom. The lob, and Lamar will get the tap on the finish.
Jerry, I think you need a TO.
It's getting away.
Just a thought.
80-58 Lakers, their biggest lead of the night.
Just a thought.
No move from the bench. They're on their feet as one at Staples Center. Boozer, Kobe gambled, and it'll be a foul on Lamar Odom. They're loving it right now.
Wow, what a sequence there. The crowd on their feet. Everybody high-fiving. They love it. That's Staples Center. With 2 minutes and 2 to go, they lead 80-58. Kobe got it started. Deep, deep, deep. Yeah, I see you. Woo! But when we come back, Patrick O'Neal will be talking about somebody who knows something about winning championships, Magic Johnson.
Lakers D continues to be a big part of it all tonight. In fact, Utah just 10 for their last 35, 29%. Well, Laker fans log on to foxsports.com or lakers.com and watch Lakers ISOCam, where you can watch an exclusive isolation camera feed of your favorite players. Be sure to vote on the players you'd like to see. Keyword there is ISOCam. So the Lakers, with their biggest lead of the game, 2:02 to play, they're up by 22. And let's head downstairs to a guy who knows a little something about winning time, Patrick O'Neal.
Yeah, Joel, he's an authority on winning, and it's Irvin Magic Johnson. Everybody has their favorite Laker. If you're my age, this is the guy right here. Magic, always great to see you. Now, I think Kobe Bryant's bounce-back game after Game 3 when he shot so poorly was really important, not only for him, but for the team to believe that they can win. I think it's carried over to tonight.
Yeah, you know, when you think about Game 3 and then you think about Game 4, he really said, you know what, I'm going to show my teammates I'm ready to play. I'm going to show the Utah Jazz team that I'm going to carry the Lakers on my back. And then when he's aggressive like that and he's playing well, it's contagious. The other guys feed off of that. And then also, too, what I was really impressed with was the Laker defense, because for them to win, let's just say the championship, they have to be consistent on the defensive end. The offense will take care of itself. Even when we had a bad shooting night, we were right there to win that game in Game 3. That did not happen, but that shows you the mindset of the Lakers have to be defensive-minded. We have, you know, the Lakers have so many different scores. Even when the starters sometimes don't play well, at least the bench play well.
I know you're keeping your eye on all of the playoff series. Cleveland took care of Detroit. That was a sweep. It would be great for everybody if it was LeBron versus Kobe and the Lakers. Still some work to be done, but that would be quite a matchup.
Oh, no question about it, because they're the best team in the East. We're the best team in the West. There's a lot of basketball, playoff basketball still to be played. But at the same time, that's a dream matchup for everybody. But again, they have to take care of business now. If we continue to play like this and then we get a Houston or a Portland, we got a tough matchup in the second round. And so will they. You know, Atlanta is athletic. Miami has Dwayne Wade. So both teams have still got to take care of their business before they can look forward to a matchup in June in the championship. So I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, because one thing about this team, the Lakers, we slip back sometimes. So the Lakers can afford to look ahead, because when we do that, we don't play our game. And right now, tonight, the Lakers are on top of their game, both on the offensive end and defensive end. And this is the way they have to play. Concentrated basketball for 48 minutes. And I'm impressed with them. I really am. I was really looking forward to seeing how they were going to come out and play.
Well, hopefully this will be the year. Always appreciate your time. Thanks so much, Matt.
I appreciate that.
All right, guys, back to you.
Final 27 seconds. Thank you, Patrick. And when Magic refers to slipping back a little bit, I think he's talking about blown leads.
Yeah, there have been a few occasions where they've seen some leads slip away.
Final 6 on the shot clock. Ronnie Price with the last 2 baskets. Will they do 3 straight? No. Pau Gasol with the rebound. Final shot coming up for the Lakers, and they got to hustle. Shannon Brown picking it up in time. Will it go? Everything else has tonight. Lakers extend their 13-point halftime advantage, and they go to the break leading by 19.
Wow, you know, look at that shot by Shannon Brown to end the quarter. You think, wow, is that going to go? And then he actually had a chance. That's one of those heartbreakers as it just rattled around. Not enough arc on it. That would have been a three-pointer to end the third. We'll head to the fourth with their Lakers up 82-63 after a barrage late in that quarter opened the game wide up. Lakers lead by 19, and you can see how they've dominated after the first quarter on the scoreboard. And Lamar Odom, he's our Jaguar performer because he has really got it done, whether it's on the offensive end, which he's been very good. He's been very good on the defensive end, and he's been doing other little things that a lot of times don't show up in the stat sheet. Obviously, rebounding and scoring always shows up. But the little things that he does really makes things possible for this team to be the team that they are. Check out the new R Performance vehicles at your local Jaguar dealer or on JaguarUSA.com.
Lakers start Andrew Bynum on the floor to begin the fourth. As Korver turning into Sasha. Those two have had some fun in this series. Millsap fouled, and he's going to the line looking for the three-point play. So late close getting over on that side by Andrew Bynum. And at one point in the series, Andrew had more fouls than rebounds. The first 3 games, 12 fouls, 9 rebounds. Now let's see if the first few minutes he can pick it up here in the fourth.
Well, we talk about always the first 5 minutes of the third being very, very crucial. But also, when you go to your bench and you have a lead, it's the first 5 minutes of any quarter because you know they're going to try to make a run. You have to answer their runs.
So Kobe stays out there with 4 reserves. Extra pass, Shannon Brown. And Sasha got it over Brewer. Somehow, some way. Kobe on the 3. 85-66.
That one was deeper than the other one.
27 for Kobe on 9 of 16. Brewer popping up. And Josh Bob with a good position. Shoved by Okor from behind. The Lakers will take it first 45 seconds of the fourth. And you can essentially break it down into 3-minute increments here. If you sprint away and go up by 25-28 in the first 3, they'll know it's over.
This shot by Kobe, look how far behind the three-point line he is. And it's no problem. I mean, he just sets his feet, lets it fly. You think another one's going to come here?
In a similar position, Andrew Bynum in the neighborhood. Trying to close, little fall away, used only one hand, and Bynum kept it away from Okor, who touched it last. He just challenged from behind. It was enough.
And with Andrew's length, he should be able to challenge a lot from that position without picking up the fouls as he did there. That was a nice play. Gives the Lakers another possession.
Fresh shot clock for the Lakers. Kobe says, I don't need it. Long rebound. Sasha with Bynum's on. Shannon Brown looked at the clock like it was all the way down. There was a new clock as he goes with a foul line jumper.
Well, he's had some bad luck on his shots, though. A couple of them that just somehow found their way back out of the basket.
And coming off a real good game, the bench was exceptional. Game 4, one of the reasons the Lakers won is Andrew Bynum. Back to his man, Millsap, all the way out of bounds, like that. But the bench tonight, 2 for 9 for Sasha, 0 for 4 for Brown. Sasha's got the only 2 buckets for the bench. And Kobe held up by Ronnie Price. Second team foul. 10:20 to play and 10:20 away from round number 2.
And Phil Jackson is looking at the scoreboard, I believe, and the clock, at 10:20 to go in the fourth. Probably saying, if they can just maintain, and I give Kobe another minute or 2 before I put him on the sideline. And if you feel you're hoping it's for the last time, he's not going to put him back in the game. Brewer had Kobe early in the series. Start of the game tonight, it was Kirilenko.
Kobe tied up on the double, and Korver was right on top of the basketball, going the distance.
Ooh, Korver dunked. I didn't know Korver could dunk.
85-68.
Did you know that?
In the open floor. Kobe, response, and a foul. Got a feeling he really wanted the ball that time.
Well, anytime you take it away from him, you know the next time he touches it, look out, because he's going to go to work. Korver does a good job of coming over and getting the ball and then going down and saying, "Stu, you didn't think I could dunk? You thought I was a three-point shooter? Well, I got more game than that."
18-point Laker lead. Well, Fox Sports West now on Twitter. Follow us all at twitter.com/Fox Sports West. And receive breaking news, all the updates on your favorite teams, the Dodgers, the Angels, there's the Lakers as they continue through the postseason, and they will. Less than 10 to play. Kobe has 29 points, averaging a little more than 26, almost 27 over the first 4 of this series. And will those two be coming back into the game? Boozer and Darren Williams.
I would doubt it unless they make a little brief run here.
Brewer was waiting. And on top of the basketball was Sasha. Well,
a block shot
on his way down. Well timed.
First block shot of his career.
And Kobe the size advantage. Face-up game with Josh Powell. Don't have to worry. He not only makes them with his right hand, but as we both saw, he makes long ones with his left hand. Price all the way to the cup.
Yeah, see, getting a little careless there. You can't just now look to have a playground game. You got to stick with the game plan, and that's playing good defense.
Andrew Bynum right back at him. And Drew will give the Lakers a second chance. On the deflection, Brown on the reverse. Back to 21-91-70. So Shannon Brown gets his first bucket, attacking the basket. Korver off the deck. They run a lot of screens, don't they? Just a few. 91-73. Can't relax. And that's why Kobe's still out there with the second unit.
Can't relax in the NBA.
Kobe denied. Ball popped free. Right to Andrew Bynum. And on the reach. Okor got him. Free throws coming up when we come back for Drew.
Well, we got a timeout, 8:33 to go here in the in the fourth quarter. I'll give you that. I won't say the ball game. I've seen stranger things happen. Not going to happen tonight as the Lakers lead it 91-73. And I've seen everything now. Sasha with a block shot. Where will it ever end?
They are on their feet with good reason. We'll explain that in just a moment at Staples Center. 18-point Laker lead with 8.5 left. Laker fans, log on to foxsports.com or lakers.com and watch the Lakers ISOCam, where you can watch an exclusive isolation camera feed of your favorite Lakers. Be sure to vote on the players that you'd like to see, and that keyword is ISOCam. Talked about everybody out at Staples tonight. Jonah Hill, favorite, Flea, Anthony Kiedis. Great actor. Dustin Hoffman. I'll share it. Bassett. Jack Nicholson. So Andrew Bynum out of the break. Fouled by Okor. Andrew going to the line for the first time tonight. Good stroke. And they just honored Lawrence Tanner talking about a former Laker rookie. And we mentioned it a couple of nights ago, our buddy Hot Rod Hundley. And it looks like it's going to be his final game. It's an unbelievable career.
Yeah, very, very good career. 35 years for Hot Rod, and started his broadcasting career, I believe, with the Lakers, working with the legendary great one, Chick Hearn.
1967. They worked with Chick. Millsap got Bynum out of position, and Drew really doesn't need to leave the ground against him, does he?
No. When you have that kind of a size advantage, you just wait until the ball is just about ready to be out of his hand, then you go. But it's easier said than done. Head fakes, they've been there for a long time. Millsap struggling with the first of two. He's been like that every trip he's gone to the line. He's made half of his free throws, 3 out of 6. He misses the first of two.
Now, I like the fact that Drew has 5 rebounds in 10 minutes, because regardless of whether it's Houston with Yao Ming or Oden and Brisbilla with the Portland Trailblazers, Drew is going to be needed. Bynum's going to be a factor in the next round.
This is where they should be going inside to him and let him start to get something going again. He was playing decently at the end of the regular season.
You asked for it, you got it. And he's a little bit short. Pulled down by Kyle Korver. 93-74. Lakers still by 19. 8 to play. Game 5 of this first round series. Closeout game where the Lakers have been 14 of their last 16 in that situation. Millsap, pretty nifty move against Bynum. 93-76. Millsap, a restricted free agent. He's due for a hefty raise by the Utah Jazz. Sasha, space, Kobe's got it. It's not been a good shooting night for Sasha. 2 for 10.
See, because the defense is slacked off, you see what the lead is doing now.
Right.
They're just allowing easy baskets now. They got that 21-point lead or so, and then they decided to take a side relief. You just can't do that in the NBA.
It's off Shannon Brown. Turnover going the other way, so quickly down to 15. Yeah, what's it going to be after the 14th giveaway by the Lakers? 14 turnovers, only 10 for the Utah Jazz. And the Jazz up to 43% now. The Lakers down to a little over 44% shooting. Ronnie Bryce popping up. Long rebound. Josh Powell out of bounds in a collision with Brewer.
Yeah, I believe before he got to the ball, just as he was touching it, his right foot was on the baseline.
So second chance now for the Utah Jazz. This all coming, don't forget, with Boozer and Darren Williams still over on the bench.
And that's because the Lakers have relaxed.
Millsap. Korver kept it alive. The Lakers caught ball watching. And an easy deuce for Millsap on the run. New game, 7-0 run, 93-80. And it's been a dilemma for Phil Jackson and the staff. Why these big leads disappear. Well, Lamar Odom and Pau Gasol on the bench for the Lakers at the same time. I mentioned Williams and Boozer over there for the Jazz. Shot clock on Kobe, all the way down and on a crossover. Taken away again. Ronnie Brewer this time. Korver in the corner. And a foul by Sasha. Lakers' third team foul. Comes with 6:15 to play.
The most dangerous dribble in basketball, obviously, is the crossover. If you get too close to the defender, you're going to give it up. And you have to know that spacing as to when you're going to do the crossover. So that forces Phil Jackson to go to his bench and bring Trevor, Lamar, and Powell back in the game.
Kobe sits down along with Josh Powell and Andrew Bynum. With the potential for more points off the turnover. Millsap. And he got space. He had Pau Gasol on his heels. Down to 11, the closest they have been in the second half. Because remember, the Lakers led by 13 at the break. And then extended it very early in the third. So who's it going to be now for the Lakers? The catalyst in the offensive end. Kobe's on the bench. Pau Gasol knocked away by Okur. 8 left on the shot clock. And a timeout when we come back. We'll see what the Lakers do.
Well, the timeout comes at the right time for the Lakers. They need to sit down and get a little bit of verbiage from their coach, because they have really taken their foot off the gas, and now it's going to be a situation where do they have enough to put it back where they had it as they lead 93-82.
Welcome back as we continue with Game 5. Lakers trying to close it out with 5:49 to play. And very similar to what we saw for the first 4 games of this series, leads that have been shrinking for the Lakers. 22 at the half in Game 1, down to 9. They won by 13. It was up to 20. All the way down to 3 with 3 to play. Eventually won that. Didn't get so lucky in Game 3, otherwise it would have been a sweep. 13-point lead at Utah, and then led by 24 before finally deciding it by 14. So now the Lakers leading by as many as 20, and that was at 8.5 left. 3 minutes gone. Now a 9-0 run.
This is a crucial possession for the Lakers to try to break a little bit of momentum.
Pau Gasol challenged real strong over just the 7-footer coming out. Mehmet Okur. Not like he was going to block the shot.
And the Lakers, they're just too nice. You know, they get a team on life support. Instead of pulling the plug, they give them mouth-to-mouth.
Millsap inside. He's a smaller guy than Lamar Odom, but the maneuverability of Millsap. 9, 5 1/4 left. It's an 11-0 run. Can they afford to leave Kobe on the bench much longer?
Well, again, that last possession I thought was crucial. This one,
Ronnie Price took it away from Sasha, who picked up the foul. And that's the last foul to give for the Lakers.
And since Ronnie Price came into the game, it has changed the Jazz around. He had that tip dunk as soon as he came in, and it really helped inspire them some. Now Kobe and Derek both have to come back into the lineup. So the Lakers, with 5:12 to play, lead by 9. They bring their entire starting lineup onto the floor.
And as good as the bench was, and we gave them their props last game, they're only 4 for 20 tonight. They have not been able to hit good looks tonight. So Ronnie Price runs the offense with Williams over on the bench. 5 to play. On the run out. Corbin. The three. And Brewer cleans up. He had locked up Pau Gasol 13 straight. 93-86. And all of a sudden, anybody's game at Staples Center, unfortunately.
Have you seen this team play before? You knew something could happen, and it has.
Kobe up against Brewer. No double yet. On the fall away. On his way down. How big was that? 95-86. Kobe comes through. He's got 31.
You know, because in my mind, Jerry Sloan had almost decided to, let his bench go ahead and play in the last game, basically. But they played such a critical role here.
Finch coming over to help out. Inside, can Brewer save it? He will.
Travel.
O'Court. Price wide open for three. Not close. Lamar Odom had it batted away by Brewer. We got a running start. Second chance opportunity. O'Court on the arm. Inside of 4 to play in a 9-point affair. Price trying to create. Not a bad guy to go to. Forward. Down to 6. 95-89 with their key starters on the bench, Darren Williams and Carlos Boozer. Pau Gasol should swing to the strong side. Got plenty of time on the shot clock. Korver shading. Going to be Ariza for 3. Long rebound. O'Court saves it to the baseline. It was a 22-point lead. That was the largest. When this run started, it was 20 with 8.5 to play.
Now Jerry Sloan can afford to put his starters back on. Kirilenko, Boozer, and Darren Williams for the final 3:15 because it's a game. (95-89), 3:15 to play. Lakers once led by 22. Well, the Jazz did not quit. Millsap making things happen. 14 points here in the fourth quarter. Ronnie Brewer, offensive rebound. He's hammering home some, and then their shooter, Kyle Korver, drains the 3 and has brought him back to within 6.
Millsap has been the catalyst, though. He's got 14 of his 16 here in the fourth. They've outscored the Lakers in the fourth, 26-13. Darren Williams back on the floor. It was almost thrown away. He saved it on the sideline. Now, deep into the clock, O'Court to it. It'll be short. Lakers don't corral it. Kobe and Lamar let it go. Fish on the deflection. Second chance. And the points in the paint have also killed the Lakers. They're a +10. Now they're down by 2. It was 38-20, 8 points in the paint. It is now 40-38. Utah. That's how they've been able to get to the cup here in the fourth. 5 of the shot clock for Ronnie Price. Fish held his ground. It's an air ball. Quite a collision for no whistle.
Wow.
I mean, that was serious.
Yeah. Way too much contact for no call.
Now the final 2:25. Big stop for the Lakers. Twice they had to do it. After the offensive board. Kobe deep into the clock. Takes the Gasol pick. On his weak side, they'll follow in the baseline. DeMar kept it alive. Now they're going to run out of 3-on-1. It'll be Williams blowing it, and Ariza gets it. Was he too far into the basket? A foul on Ronnie Price. Was he too deep when he tried to flip it up? Man, what a break.
And that's an enormous break for the Lakers. And now free throws for Trevor Ariza. Just over 2 minutes to play. 2:04. The Lakers are just hanging on by a thread. They're up by 6 as in transition. Just a little too far, a little bit too much momentum, and got himself too far under the basket, did Darren Williams. You can see how when momentum shifts, it starts to affect every area of your game, whether it's the defense or the offense. Trevor misses the first of 2, so you can see how all of the momentum is still with the Utah Jazz.
And Trevor Ariza sat down with 8 minutes left in the third with his fourth foul. He sat there for a long time into the fourth quarter. He gets 1 of 2. Lakers by 7, 96-89. Who would have believed this kind of finish? 2 minutes to play. Kobe on Darren Williams with help from Pau Gasol. 3-point shooters out there. Price is trying to get it inside, though. Millsap caught in the air. The shot clock, and they're using a lot of it. Oh, cool. Would it be a jump? No, Millsap pulled it away from Gasol. On the dive, Price pulled it. Didn't roll it home. Lakers need to use the clock. Instead, Lamar from this, and the foul. Told you they needed to use the clock by 9.
Well, in transition, you got to score there, and that was a good decision by Derek Fisher. They had the number, they had Lamar streaking, and he gets the hoop and one, but the Lakers dodged another couple of cannons on the other end as the Jazz had opportunities. Foul or no foul, they didn't come up with it, and now Lamar with a 3-point opportunity to put the lead back to 10 with a minute and a half to play.
92 seconds to play. LA's got 24 and 13, and it stays that way. So Darren Williams surveying the situation, and they've got to pick it up. Time on the Lakers side. Great out by the Lakers now. Millsap go all the way to the hole, and another blown layup. But Price took it away. Lamar defended it. Now get it across the line. No, he doesn't. But it'll squirt free and out of bounds to the Lakers. They're living right with 69 seconds left, I'll tell you that.
I just don't believe the sequences that I've seen. Technical foul on Jerry Sloan, he's out. He just got tossed.
You're not surprised?
No, not really. The number one, Mr. Jaffe, doesn't take too much verbiage from the sidelines or from the players. And I'm wondering if he had some legitimate gripes, because there was a lot of contact on a few plays for the Jazz with no whistle at all.
Derek Fisher shoots the technical.
Millsap going to the basket. This one he just blows. This one was just a blown layup there.
Yeah, but that could have been a loose ball
on Price.
Right,
yeah.
without it, he came through Lamar's arms. Now, they probably let him play after the loose ball foul wasn't called.
And then Lamar got a little careless. Had it taken away from behind.
Jazz are not going to foul, surprisingly. Ariza. Gasol will be fouled, and that should do it. There's 62 seconds remaining. Pau Gasol going to the free throw line of the foul by Mehmet Okur.
Well, you got all the players harping at the officials right now. You know, I don't know how they do it, how they maintain their control without tossing everybody out of the game.
Pau Gasol shoots two. And the Lakers got to clean that up. They started very well at the line. That's a miss by Pau. That's his second miss with the strike.
Well, they're at 77%.
Which is their season average.
So you are what you are.
1 or 2, and it should be enough. Insurmountable, 100-89.
Well, just, you know, again, don't give them 3-point opportunities from behind the arc.
Williams, they want to go to foul him. He can go to the basket. You don't want any fouls. Gasol gets one there, though, and stops the clock with Okur going to the free throw line.
Again, not a 3-point play, though, so less than a minute to play, 54 seconds to be exact. Jazz, Mehmet Okur will go to the line to shoot 2, and Okur 1 out of 2 from that distance. Total of 6 points for their starting center.
And Stu, this is going to be our final game on this incredible season and this incredible run. And I want to thank everybody with our Fox Sports Net and our Fox Sports West crew. Our producer, Mark Shaw, our director, Doug Freeman. We saw an amazing, when you see 65 wins, you sat in on a pretty special season, and it continues for the Lakers as Gasol is fouled. He's going to the free throw line with 52.1 to play. Make your free throws and it's over, of course, in a 9-point game.
Hack a Pau. They just fouled the first person they got the ball, and it happened to be Pau Gasol, so he'll shoot 2 more. Lakers up by 9. As long as you're knocking down your free throws, there's no problem.
You've been on some amazing and incredible rides with this team. This was a lot of fun this season for us to watch them go 65-17 with the second best record in the NBA.
It really was a lot of fun to see this team develop as it did from basically last season on.
Now to the point where they're one of the deepest teams in the NBA, and it should be that way for a number of years. As Korver off the lip of the rim, pick up on the ball.
Tried to foul Derek, he missed.
Trevor Ariza bring it back down. So they won't foul. I can't believe they'll foul, and they will. Darren Williams will with 31.3 to play. 10-point game. So the Lakers, it is safe. It is finally safe. They're on their way to round number 2 and a matchup with either the Houston Rockets, who lead 3-1, or the Portland Trailblazers.
Again, sure, it's a good win, and all wins are good. It shouldn't have been this difficult. They had themselves a situation where they could have rested their starters and just had a nice little blowout here. But as they often do, they don't want the fans to leave early. They want you to get your money's worth.
Traffic.
So they make it close.
Fish gets 1 of 2. And a timeout now by Phil Johnson. It'll be a full by the Jazz. The final 31.3 seconds of their season.
Well, what are they going to talk about in this huddle? Setting up a play for next year? Running something to see what they can do for next season as they trail by 11.
It's always an adventure, and we've said it before with this team. Nothing seems to come all that easy, as they led by as many as 22 tonight. It was 20 with 8.5 to play. And up next, will it be the Houston Rockets? The Lakers swept the season series with the Rockets and Portland Trailblazers. That's a different story. Young, athletic team, not obviously a very good matchup for them when they go up against the Houston Rockets in Yao Ming. But they took 2 from the Lakers this year, both at Portland. The Lakers controlled them and won by double digits at home. But it's not been an easy trip for a long time for the Lakers when they go up into the Northwest. Korver, the 3. It's 102-94. Quick foul. 27.4 to play. So Kyle Korver off the bench with 11. And the Lakers bench also has to pick it up before round number 2 begins.
Better pick it up before tomorrow.
I think the day may be off. But
well, with this performance, I don't know. Phil may punish him and say, you know, guys, I planned on giving you tomorrow off, but
4 for 20.
Some of you better come in.
4 for 20 for the reserves tonight for the Lakers. Derek Fisher puts the Lakers back up 103-94. So they advance. It'll be 4 down, 12 to go for the Lakers. That's some hard to believe moments when it got down to 6 with 3 to play. Williams for 3. And Kobe, all he has to do is get across the line. And Lamar shoved by Okor, slamming it with 11.5 seconds to play. I'm kind of surprised by all these events.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that the Lakers attacked the basket. The shot clock is off. Game is won. If they're going to foul you as you're dribbling in there, that's one thing. But if you're attacking the rim, then that kind of surprised me as well. So Lamar tries to complete the three-point play and see if the Lakers can go up. 107-94.
They are singing at Staples Center, and with good reason. Western Conference semifinals are up next for the Lakers this weekend, as Lamar can't convert on the three-point play. Ronnie Price. And he's fouled by Derek Fisher, then gets a technical as he got into Fisher's face. This is, by the way, there's some carryover. You want to remember that first matchup next season between the Lakers and the Utah Jazz. Because they weren't happy, as you mentioned, with the Lakers going to the rim the last time. Tacos are safe, though. So Fish with the challenge, and then the verbal challenge real quickly from Price.
Well, you have to wonder if a lot of that chippiness right there was a result of Lamar going to the basket. You just don't know.
And those two, remember, just a little while ago, I think it was with a little more than a minute to play, Ronnie Price made a run on the left baseline right into Derek Fisher. It was going to be a charge or a block, and it didn't even produce a whistle. And it was a serious collision.
Yeah. Ronnie Price, with only, less 5.9 seconds, you don't want to get tossed. Come on, Ronnie, just let it go out. Let it go, man, let it go.
Utah Valley State in his fourth season. He gets the first of two. And he was the reason, along with Millsap, that it started to turn around for the Utah Jazz. He was out there at the start of the fourth for Darren Williams. So the Lakers can get it in. They don't even have to take it across the line. It's over. On to the Western Conference semifinals as the Lakers eliminate the Utah Jazz in 5. So 4 down, 12 to go. And who's it going to be? Houston or Portland? It was a battle.
It was a battle. It was a little bit more of a struggle in the fourth quarter than we expected. But the bottom line still becomes the Lakers prevailed. They win the series 4-1. Now they can relax for a few days to wait to see who their next opponent may be.
And I like this, and I truly appreciate this, because these guys are banging against each other. And the Utah Jazz, that's what they do. They try to grind with you downstairs. But the sportsmanship always displayed. There's not many guys in this elite company of the NBA, and they get together and they appreciate everybody.
They're not any bad guys on that team over there. I mean, they're not a team that just tries to beat you up all the time. That's just the way they play the Jerry Sloan system.
It was the starting 5, though, tonight. Not much from the bench. Bench helped out defensively. Offensively, the first 5. A couple of guys in particular like Lamar Odom and Kobe Bryant. So the Lakers advance 107-96, and we head downstairs now to Patrick O'Neal. Patrick?
All right, Joel, Stu, thanks very much. Great job all year by you guys once again. With Lamar Odom, who was pretty outstanding as well, 26 and 15. Not sure what got into Ronnie Price at the end of the game. Wasn't happy that you took it to the rack, huh?
Nah, I mean, they're fouling hard. I'm not going to stop playing. I respect the team. I respect the game. I'm not going to try to embarrass anybody. But, some of our problem is that we haven't kept playing.
Bottom line is, sorry to interrupt, but bottom line, you guys advanced, Lamar, but what were you thinking when that lead got cut from 22 to 6?
We just got to get it back. It happens. Those guys, we playing a long stretch of minutes, and the guys are sitting. Then they got to play a long stretch of minutes, and sometimes, the game goes topsy-turvy. But, it don't matter. Just win.
Is this one of those things where teams make runs in the NBA, or is this something that we're going to have to talk about until your next opponent?
And they're gonna make runs, and it's our job to, try to hold them off as long as possible and win the game. That's the most important.
Last one. Utah was a tough number 8 seed. Probably deserved better, but that's where they ended up. For you guys to beat them in 5 games, are you happy with that effort? What does it say about your team?
Houston's going to be tough. We expect them to play tough. We're looking forward to playing against them. Great defensive team, great system. And, it doesn't really matter who we play. I hope it goes 7 games and 10 overtime. Hope they break the record for games and minutes played.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, outstanding effort tonight. Get some rest, and you have some time off.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Lamar Odom, tremendous game, 26 and 15. Kobe Bryant, of course, did his thing. Joel and Stu talking about how the bench has to step up. But for now, they don't have to worry about it because they beat the Utah Jazz. Is that Kobe? Thanks, Kobe. My hair, not even out of place. Kobe Bryant and the Lakers handle the Utah Jazz. Here's what we have for you coming up on Lakers Live. Bill McDonald, Rick Fox, Norm Nixon. Don't go anywhere, because this is where you get all your Lakers info. Press conference with Phil. Look ahead to the next opponent. Talk about why the Lakers are giving up leads. Doesn't matter now, though. Stick around. Plenty more Lakers Live right after this.